and thank you for sharing your time with me at Deb Chanel 48's World. Today we're going to be reviewing the Housewives of Potomac, Season 1, Episode 2. And the title they gave to this particular episode was Error on the High Seas. Okay, if we go into the first clip they were giving us was Karen and the kids getting toys up off the floor, getting things situated, whatnot. Then they ran into Ashley and Eddie were talking about, I guess, doing the upcoming interview for her assistant position she was hiring for. And then we go into scene 3 where Karen and her daughter Raven are taking self-defense classes. And I think that's a really good thing to do with your daughter when you're sending her off to another state or city, that you're not going to be around the corner or in the area to check on her on a routine basis just in case she needs you. Mother hens, we don't really let go of our children. We kind of tend to still feed in their lives as much as possible, on purpose, and sometimes not on purpose. But we know they're not there, so we try to bring security to them in any facet that we possibly can, just to keep them safe. We send out prayers. We do like Karen is doing with Raven, get them into self-defense training classes to be able to defend themselves when they're with people that they know, and then they start acting out of pocket versus, again, having that safety aspect with people that they don't know. For example, they may be walking home from campus to their, outside apartment, or even if they're on campus and they're living on campus, they may have to go to their dorm room, and they may have to travel through a path that's not so lighted with lights and stuff, and they may come across an intruder or a mugger or a rapist or something like that. Unwanted contact is what I'm talking about, that can be detrimental to an individual. So that would be another form, giving them that preparation of self-defense. And thirdly, you buying them pepper spray gas or tasers or any type of device that's going to help them put their assailant, or a person that's trying to assault them, down, at least for a couple of moments, where they can have a chance to get away or hurt them a little bit more and subdue them until the cops come. Just depending on how savvy they are and how brave they are to actually be able to subdue their victimizer until somebody can call a cop, or cops to the area where they are. And I don't too much advise it. I'm in that, like, do your self-defense training on them, hurt them as much as possible so you can start to scream, flee the situation, make draw attention to yourself so that you can, have other people aware that something is happening to you so they can gravitate towards you, and possibly help you out of that situation. So kudos for Karen, doing that for her daughter. Most people don't even think of that um, piece of information that they need to give to their loved ones when they're actually going off and venturing and starting a new life on their own, even though we're sending them off to educate themselves a little more and be self-sufficient with a sustainable job, to sustain them through their livelihood when they get out of college. But sometimes we don't really think about that, and sometimes when we have um, males that happen to be our children, we don't necessarily think to put them through the same rigorous training or self-defense classes just because they're a male. But they need to know as well. So like I said, kudos for her in doing that. I don't know if she did it with her son, but maybe he took it up on himself, because she didn't really give us that feedback or provide that information about her eldest son. So um, that was a good thing. Kudos to you. Didn't know she was mugged, and she was still calculating because she was like, I ain't gonna let them get my ring, So she slid that down into her private parts, and I'm like, you know, ew, But just a bad thought in my mind went through when she said she had slipped it into her unmentionables, or her private area. But I don't think I would have put that on TV either, because if her mother knew her and knew she was a socialite, they could still come and try to look for you, boo. So some things you just want to keep off camera, or videoing. So but kudos in the other aspects you gave us in that scene. The great advice you chose to impart on your daughter. So great job there. So we move on to the next scene where we're looking at Ashley and Michael, and they're interviewing candidates, like I said, for her assistant position. Michael's coming in there, putting out her little pieces together for us, her office supplies she's going to need to help her interview her candidates. And I didn't know she had a mixture of having them, um, what do you call it, perform for her their mixing drink skills. I didn't think that was a part of her assistant's job, but I guess she is too good to make her own drinks, which, whatever. But anyway, kind of a boring scene, but I knew it was a logical scene and a well thought out plan in Michael's aspect, because he's her financial banker for her project. So he wants to be able to see who's gonna be in pretty much his business. He's just letting her be the front person. Um, who she's trying to hire, who she feels, and probably he's basically looking at who he can, have a second look at too, wondering eyes, and I'm pretty sure they have a very open relationship. But anyway, they were interviewing, nice candidates from various cultures, diversity, and it seemed like they were coming along with some pretty good people that were uh, pleasantly pleasing to the eye, as well as intelligent. Had a lot to say, very friendly, very personable, but don't seem like they did their research real well on the Australian life and the kind of motif they were trying to bring to her particular um, ideal of her restaurant slash bar, because they didn't too much know about the symbolicness of that culture, um, the culture itself, the drinks, any cultural information, such as this little blow horn they use, and what it's being blown for, and where certain um, places were in Australia. They didn't really do their background homework, and I thought that was, pretty dumb of them in a sense, because I can't really think of a word, or I guess poor preparation would be better. To understanding when you go for an interview, you do want to do your due diligence about finding out about the organization and the hiring aspects, and the demographics, and just to name some financial reports on the Australian life and the business of what they're catering to, and the clientele they're trying to reach. So I didn't think none of them really did it, or they didn't show us um, per se. Um, and that was pretty much it. I'm sure Michael would have the main or beneficial choice of who he feel is a good fit, not necessarily just eye pleasing to the public when they come in, but just that they know a little bit more about the clientele they're going to be serving, and the information that needs to be given to individuals that come up that may have questions about the Australian menu they're gonna be serving for us the food choices and the drinks. You got to know that language and a lingo, when you're dealing with that population of people that you're trying to attract. So they have their homework cut out for them, but you teach one, learn one, teach one. So it all goes hand in hand. So then we go move on to Robin and Charisse. And Charisse is watering her flowers. She's actually going over to her house and they're making a little chit chat conversation here and there. And just, kind of a felt good moment. They're both like talking about their different relationships, how their relationships have taken them thus far to the point to where their relationships are to the present. So, um, Therese is talking about, her husband and how she basically wants a divorce because she don't see him meeting her halfway or even interested in saving the marriage, and love is lost. She's tired of trying to make things work, try to make him back interested in her and their life together outside of the kids. And you know she basically didn't have the guts to pretty much, you know, sitting to have a conversation with him over the telephone. I don't know if it's just fear he wouldn't pick up or fear of what he might tell her that she was expecting him to say, but was hoping he never would say. So she opted out with just sending him a text message that she wants a divorce, and she started, divorce proceedings. So I'm like, okay, you pretty much basically have summed up that he just don't want to deal with you anymore. And he may have openly told you in so many ways that you and him are done, and I guess he wanted you to basically start the proceedings and then he can just go over the finales of, what he's going to be responsible for and this, that, and the other, and what he's going to give up or, allow you to have and whatever. But that's sad that, you've spent so many years cultivating something and seeing it flourish and then have it to all blow up, you know, into pieces, literally. So, life goes on. If it can't be worked out where both parties are trying to invest time in doing that, then it's no sense of, hanging on to something that's just not there. So, Robin kind of give her kudos and, try to, you know, soften some of the edges that were kind of really sticking out on what she was saying, trying to soften some of those blows, not letting her take it all in like she was a failure at her marriage, because nobody really fails. If you both have each other working on the marriage to try to make it better or, to ride through the storms that you may be partaking of at a period of time in the relationship, just as long as y'all both are in it for the long haul and y'all are giving 100% together to salvage the relationship, then it's okay. But if you're one person is giving 50% and the other person is giving, what, 40%, 20%, it's not going to mesh well. I mean, one person is giving 60%, the other person is giving 40%, one person is giving 80%, the other person is giving 20%. It's the unevenness is gonna take its toll right there, and it's gonna make things escalate for the negative in a faster pace because emotion is gonna be displayed, and I'm pretty sure both parties are very exhausted going through the whole process of trying to get back to where they were where things were happy and livable, and then you're trying to work through a lot of issues that haven't really been resolved, and um, neither party or one party is making a lot of time to help salvage the relationship and try to move forward in an amicable way. Then you may have this other person just like, whatever. So, it's a sad thing to see marriages dissolve, especially when there's still some love there, but it just got lost somewhere during the process of, everyday living, the kids, paying attention to their well-beings and trying to, make a home and financial stability for, each party that's involved in the household. So, um, sad. But then, it's that time where Robin has to, put all of her uh, emotions and dirty laundry or dirty details about her relationship with her. I'm kind of confused with her because, like I said, she went through the whole formality of divorcing her husband, but yet they still live and cohabitate with each other in the same household, like they've never divorced at all. Who does that? I'm just mind boggled. I don't see how that can be. I mean, were you just trying to do that to be at the sinful realm where you was like didn't want to be judged by the Lord because you needed to be married and you wanted to be covered in the blood of Jesus or Yahweh to or Yeshua um and get his protection and it keeps him blessing you. But then you turn around and get a divorce and then you act like a hoe in a sense because y'all really are not married. But then, y'all are married because y'all still with each other. But then, just speaking as a human being, do you know what he's doing when he's out of sight and out of your state and city when he's supposedly going in for this new job adventure and trying to secure that to provide income for you and your family. I'm just not understanding it. Because technically y'all are really not married if you're in the spiritual realm. Y'all really not divorced. I meant to say y'all are still married, even though y'all got a piece of paper to say y'all can go y'all separate ways. But in the eyes of Yahweh, you're still bonded. But if you're lusting after another party outside of the marriage or you're participating in sexual sin outside the marriage, then yeah, you're both have become adulterous people. But again, like I said, I don't think y'all have really committed any infractions as far as the laws of Yahweh in marriage and all of that because technically y'all are still in the same household. You're sleeping together in the same bed. You're providing for your families. And so I understand that. The only thing that I guess you would have to think about, Robin, is basically are you going to leave with him when it's time for him to pack up all his stuff and move to the area where he's secured employment, at the university that he's basically has gotten himself into and wanting to be in with that particular university and coaching that particular team. You're gonna have to decide. Both of you gonna have to decide really whether y'all are going to, become and sustain your marriage. Whether you want to have it on paper or not have it on paper, and neither one of you all are going outside of the marriage. You're gonna have to, because it's not really for the kids. I hate when people be saying, "Oh, I'm just staying because of the kids," or "I don't want to uproot the kids," and then you even said in your confessionals that the kids don't even know that y'all are divorced. So I'm like, but they probably would now if they had some smart friends that's watching the show. If their parents are letting them watch the show, or they're basically watching the show on their own. They gonna tell them that your parents are divorced. Even though they're still young. I don't even think they're in preschool. Well, they might got to be in well, the oldest one seems like he got to be in kindergarten or first grade. But you know, if you were trying to hide it, it's gonna come out real soon. So y'all need to stop playing, or you need to stop playing because you're grown. You're a grown woman. You seem like you are a very nice woman. You're intelligent, and it shows on camera that you're a really caring mom, and your kids love you. And if your ex hadn't went out the house, or whatnot, he still must care for you as well. So I wish y'all get it together and put things back in correct perspective for you and your family. But that's pretty much it. I didn't want to waste more time on her because I don't know what's going on with her mentally. But anyway, the next clip we go to Karen and Giselle. Karen, Giselle comes to Karen's house, and of course, Giselle, like always, is fashionably uh fleet with her apparel and her makeup and everything, and she's even expressed she's in her Robin Thicke attire because she had the duality type pants or the black and white striped pants, and she was wearing it well, and she was basically talking about Ashley's event and how she was acting, and that she basically had to pay for her drinks, but she stiffed the bartender because she didn't think that it should have been a situation where um, actually had an event and everybody had to pay for their drinks. I'm right with her. When you have somebody come to a party, a birthday party, I mean, really? When did you start making your guests pay for their food and drinks and all of that? But I'm teasing, but I'm teasing about the food. Surely she didn't do that. They didn't show it anyway, but she did. Had a bar where you had to pay for your drinks. So, where they do that at? And Michael definitely has money, to spend out the bazooka for her to be. Maybe she's taking up something for her mama because her mama just recently went through divorce, and maybe she's just trying to put that money stream towards her, and she's just not telling us. I don't know, but it was just tacky, 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 tacky. So, and Karen is still defending her as they're sitting down having a little hors d'oeuvres or little snacks. But, Karen just have to be on point with everything when it comes to doing any type of event, small or large. So, but she just really feels that Ashley did not have the formal bring up when taught etiquette and schmoozing with the rich and famous, and she just really got to take her under her wing, even though she did not approve of her actions at Ashley's party that she was having and other events. But she likes her for some reason. Maybe she reminds of herself when she was younger in that age, and acting all sassy. But I don't know. But like I said, then they went on to talking about Katie and how Katie was just acting all rambunctious and just like she could have been on drugs or something to that nature, because she was just really acting over sexually with Andrew. But they didn't know what she had did to Andrew. She had to play all facets on that one to cool him down and to take him off that of the fact that she had rearranged his whole house while he was gone for a week, handling business out of town. Maybe they'll see that when they go towards the end of the show and they do a recap and they are able to watch every scene that was shown on each one of their colleagues in filming, and then they can probably understand. Okay, I see why. I see why she was, pretty much humping him and acting out sexual acts in front of everybody because he uses her for sex, and he don't care. He's wild into just showing in and everything in public. I guess he would have stopped if a cop came up to him and told him, "Hey, this is indecent exposure. You can't be doing this out in public. Look at the room, whatever." Then he probably would have held back on some of his touching and feeling types of initiation he was putting on Katie. Because it wasn't polite. I could see if it was New Year's Eve and y'all was topping off the last couple of hours or minutes before the new year rang in, and then y'all just got all slobbery on each other, whatever. Because we just pertained to it was too much alcohol, and that's what they're doing. So but it wasn't a thing that they should have been doing all that in public, at a birthday party. It wasn't right. So then we go to Ashley, brother and mother showing up um at her apartment, just coming over, trying to smooth and have some time with her mother and her brother, and to talk over the little incidents that her mother basically had to file for bankruptcy because she was just so much in debt. And they didn't really give us too much of a background history on why her mother went bankrupt. Did she lose her job? And bills just kept compiling upward and no money being able to be paid. And so people were, her creditors were getting anxious and they, wanted to sue her for whatever reason if they could have. So, but anyway, the whole thing was like, she was trying to relieve some of her mother's anxieties by having her over for mother daughter talk and just to, have a little recreation for them set up, to be able to just talk a little about her situation. And, I'm like, if you really wanted to help her out, which if she did file bankruptcy, she really not supposed to have a lot coming to a lot of money because then it's gonna go towards depending on what type of bankruptcy she did. If she did that 7, then she no, she don't have to pay anything back. But she did that 13, you would have to they're liquidating some of her assets that can be sold off or whatever. And if she gets any kind of money, that money would have to go towards her creditors. So I would have said if you really feel bad for your mom, then sell that new hot Porsche you got that your husband just bought you, and she can be back in business, without even having to have to go bankrupt. But, you know, then that car could have just been for show. You could be leasing it or whatnot, whatever. Because men are smart too. They don't want to put something into something they know you're going to probably, have for a couple of years and then you're going to want something else, especially if you're talking about having a family one day. So I'm not buying in the whole idea that he just bought this toy for you and it's a two-seater and, you know, no, I just can't comprehend that idea. So, help your mother out, Ashley. If she's that stressed out, you have money from the money that your husband is giving you to just splurge on. Give your mom the money, if you feel that bad about her situation. Pay her bills for a year, until she gets back on her feet. These are things, you can do since you're trying to say you're a mover and shaker. You're starting your own restaurant business, but like I said, it's not really yours because you're going to bank of my husband. So he's your financial backer and banker. So again, it's his business. He's just using you for the front, letting you have all the hoopla. But anyway, then we moved to a situation where Kate and Karen meet at a little eatery joint for, I want to say, light brunch. But basically, Katie's there just to pretty much talked to Karen about being one of her financial backers at one of her fundraising events, and she wanted her on the board to be able to, in a sense, peek into her Rolodex of millionaire friends and try to get them to come over and donate uh, money to her charitable cause. But Karen went here and all that. And she even said, "No, honey, I can't help you. You asked me too late, and 100,000. No, you started too late. You should have been on this idea several months ago, and I just can't help you, and I can't obligate myself at this short time because I'm doing my own fundraiser, and all the people in my Rolodex, they're gonna be giving me their coins, so." She just like quick fast in a hurry shut that down, and then Katie was just looking like a little lost puppy, like, "Ugh," so you're gonna go that way. So I was here for all of that because I didn't care for Katie anyway because she always starts things and she thinks again her beauty and her size is going to get her through so many different doors, and it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes you just have to put in the work, Katie. You can't rely on your friends and their contacts. You got to be out there making your own contacts and solidifying yourself with the people that you run around with. It's getting close. But anyway, anyway, no, it's like 29 minutes in. Then Giselle, the next scene goes to where I just love my Giselle. She be on point on all the time. She just make me laugh. I mean, just bring a smile to my face. Just her whole energy and attitude. But I don't know about this guy named Herman. I don't know because he's looking a little gay, and I don't know if that's what you wanted to, deal with or whatnot, especially if you're talking about you want a man of your own and you're a heterosexual woman. So I don't know where we're going with this. And but anyway, like I said, he kind of remind me of Pee Wee Herman, without the crazy laugh that he does. But I don't know. Maybe they didn't film him in a good light, or they edit his takes wrong or whatever. But he just, I don't know. He just seems to be a little bit too much for me. He dresses real well. He has great etiquette, very well spoken. But it just seems like when he's around you, he just act all googly eyed, and he just don't know how to present himself. It's just like he's too overwhelming. And like he wanted to ask you for a kiss, or wanted to kiss you, but he didn't know how to format himself to maneuver in and go in for the kill of the kiss. I'm like, oh no. And then when you stopped him, I was like, oh. And then he had to explain himself. I'm like, are you serious? He, I'm like, no, you need to go back to, the drawing board. Let's go through a few more candidates, because I'm sorry, he may look the part in person, and does well around your circle of friends as far as conversation piece, and he might have a nice financial portfolio, but no, I'm not feeling him. I'm not feeling him at all. No, I mean, if we all were just taking pictures by each other or whatever, yeah. But once he opened up his mouth and he, tries to approach you, it all falls apart. All falls apart. So I think you need to do a retake and move on from him. He was okay, but not enough to sustain in this show. So that's my take on it. The next one is when we're watching Andrew, Katie, Michael, and Ashley play on the golf course. Not really much there to show. It's just that it seems like Andrew and Katie, mostly Andrew, was trying to get his freak on again. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you just trying to be a freak out? When you're supposed to have the freak in the bed, closed door. Were you trying to be a freak on the outside and get arrested one day? I don't know. But that whole scene was whack and very boring. And he again was treating Katie like thought, THOT. If you don't know what that acronym is, it's that hoe over there, basically, because that's basically what he's giving me, teasing on her. He don't want to make her no wife, and he doesn't treat her with any kind of respect. But then she don't respect herself. So what? I mean, what can you ask for then? So moving on from there, Karen is calling her servant of a husband, Raymond, to come check out the wardrobe selection that they need to have when they go upon their yacht or their rented yacht for the night's event. And, he's catering to her, coming up like a butler or a servant. Yes, dear, well, we can wear this, or yeah, and then he's looking at her outfits that she's laid out for herself, and he's just like almost drooling. I'm like, Karen, please put a fork in him. Ugh, has he died already, child? But anyway, moving on from that scene, we go to Robin and Juan, and the kids are playing outside, basketball, having their one-on-one time, kids time. Like I said, she even expressed in this particular filming that, the kids don't even know they're divorced. I don't know what's going on there. Moving on. We go to Karen, Raymond are toasting, getting ready for the yacht's event. Everybody's at the yacht. Everybody's coming on board. It's supposed to have been a couple's retreat out on the seas. And Karen forgot to give the memo to Charisse because she came dateless. But of course, her husband's never there. We know the whole story on that. But she came through like a trooper. She didn't care. She was just, enjoying the food, enjoying the atmosphere, drinking nice wine, bubbly. And, she mingled with the guests real well. The only drawback that we had is, you know, with the husband, Ashley's husband, going around on the side. I guess he drunk too much and he wanted to go for a swim with the dolphins, the fish, the sharks. I don't know. But I'm like, ooh, somebody table him because he done lost his ever loving mind. And, Ashley's like, she don't understand what's going on. Why can't he do this? There go that thought mentality, the THOT, going on again. And of course, Giselle. And Karen had to come and shut that stuff all the way down, just shut it down. They were saying like, both of y'all lost your mind. These are things we don't do. This is that NIGGA mentality that the white people have made up for black people in their actions of acting ratchet. But this is the mentality that your Caucasian husband is doing. I'm like, what's going on? Did he drunk trying to go overboard? What? Do you got life insurance on money? Do you have life insurance? Anyway, that was a thought moment for both of them, really. But anyway, that's where we went with that one. But later on, also Katie was trying to talk with Giselle about same thing she talked with Karen at the restaurant about. But like I said, Karen just shut on down because she didn't want to hear it. She knew what she was dealing with, and she just didn't have time to have the talk with her about everything. So she's like, no, I'm not gonna waste my time on that. That's a project I have to work on later. But Giselle being her, always there for a friend. Indeed, a friend in need. There she go, 100% behind. So that took off like that, and she didn't really want to, but her and Katie had been friends for a very long time. I'm understanding, and it wasn't like it was Ashley asking her, because if it was Ashley, that would have been another whole story, and the end result would have been no. But she's gonna back her. She's gonna help as much as she can with the event, and she's gonna solicit. I'm pretty sure some of her friends that have money to be able to donate to her worthy cause. But she still looks at her like a hot mess too, and I'm sure before um, our next episode, they're gonna get on her pretty bad about her actions and just how she's been acting in in detail, and they won't answer, especially Giselle. And with her trying to do and still support her friend Karen. I mean, not Karen. Katie. She deserves that information and for it to be truthful. Um, and that's pretty much it, guys. It like I said, it's Giselle's show. It's Giselle world every day, all day on this show to me. And I, can talk about Karen here and there, but the rest of it, like I said, it was tomfoolery. But Giselle is the only one that can bring any type of interest of laughter or getting ready to read somebody, and it is appropriate how she does it. She gives me life on this show. So kudos to her and whoever found her to represent this show. Kudos. I'm looking forward to review the next season or the next episode, and just tune in with me and I'll give you what I got. Other than that, take it easy and be nice to yourself and to others, and be blessed. Bye.